Our doctrine comes out our fingertips. After hearing that sentence said in a recent sermon, I grabbed a pen to write it down, not wanting to forget that line. It is so true. What we believe will come out through our actions. And that's really encouraging or really convicting, depending on how we live our life. Are we living according to our profession of faith? Hi, I'm Rose, aka the Tattooed Housewife. Welcome here. Today I wanted to chat about how this idea can apply to our motherhood. Our children don't learn from us primarily through what we say, rather they pick up on how we live. Are we pointing them to Christ in our parenting? Is our marriage, as it plays out in front of our kids, representing him well? Is he being represented in our attitude about homemaking? What are our children learning about our values and beliefs as we go about our day-to-day lives? Now, I will be the first one to admit that I don't have it all together. I grumble more than I would like to say. I choose myself more than I probably should when I have downtime. I'm not always the picture of patience with my kids, and I battle laziness just as the next burnout mom. But I know that I don't have to rise to the standard of perfection to be faithful. I simply need to submit my will to God's and do my best to obey him one moment to the next. Before I can get on to the more practical stuff, we must take a moment to talk about conviction. What is the difference between conviction and shame? You are more or less familiar, I'm assuming, with the term mom guilt. Mom guilt is more based in shame than in conviction. Mom guilt says you're a terrible mother, you can never do better, and often shifts blame to you that is not yours to carry. So, what's conviction? Conviction is the rightful heart audit that comes when we sin. This comes to us from the Holy Spirit. This is a very important distinction to make, as without it, we might accidentally attribute to Satan what is actually from God. If we shrug away conviction and call it mom guilt, we have quenched the Spirit who is trying to correct us, and it's really important that we don't do that. If my daughter does something wrong, no matter what it was, if my reaction is to yell at her, tower over her, and use shaming language, I've sinned against my child, full stop. The way we discipline our kids matters to God. He calls us to guide them, to disciple them, and to train them in righteousness. We are to behave in Christ-like ways at all times, even toward our little ones. So, would Christ correct my daughter in the manner that I just described? I would expect not. I do think he would raise a proverbial eyebrow at me for doing it, though. In that example, I did not describe mom guilt. That was conviction. And it's important that we get this. So, that understood, let's get practical. How can our doctrine, which is a fancy term to say our belief system, come out our fingertips? This can look different in specific ways, one home to the next, but these examples should be applicable for just about all of us. One thing that we can do is we can model prayer for our children. My daughter and I were reading through a cardboard flip book, one of the ones with the flaps that you can lift for different illustrations. And on one page was a small boy saying bedtime prayers next to his bed, and little Z, that's my oldest, who's 2, folded her hands as though to join him. I thought it was sweet. But the moment she did it, I was hit with conviction, because she had learned that posture from a book and not from my own example. If I only reserve times of prayer to private moments, my children might never pick up on the fact that mommy talks to God every day. It likely won't even cross their minds that that practice is important. We must demonstrate these things to our kids who are fresh to the world. The second thing we can do, we can deal with conflict in God-honoring ways. When Ronnie and I, that's my husband, have a disagreement, we have 3 choices in front of us. On one hand, we can argue it out in front of our kids. Or, on the other, we can avoid their seeing us in conflict at all. Or, thirdly, we could disagree in front of them in careful but respectful, tight tones. The best option is to avoid arguing in front of your kids and never speak poorly of their other parent in front of them. This is going to strengthen their confidence that mom and dad are a team and that there is security in the home. However, as kids get older and pick up on tension during little squabble moments, it's important to model how to respect someone when you don't see eye to eye on something. This helps to teach them integrity in the midst of conflict, even in mild examples. It's important to never, ever disrespect your kid's father in front of them. I cannot emphasize it enough. They are learning how to respect others from your example. And you can't expect them to honor their parents when you are not honoring your spouse in front of them. Especially when it comes to a marriage relationship, they're learning what is acceptable through the blueprint you provide them. Third, seeing how well you steward your home will teach them a healthy work ethic long before they could ever join the workforce or learn how to apply themselves in school. Get your kids involved. Let them help you put toys away, fold towels, or unload the silverware. It takes longer, it's messier, it's painstaking, it's less efficient, but it's teaching them how to work, and that's fundamental. If your goal is to train them in the way they should go, then it's actually far more efficient than not including them to save 5 minutes. Fourthly, stewardship as it applies to your body. How are you nourishing your family? This one slaps me in the face because I loathe cooking, but that doesn't mean I get to skip over it. How we care for our bodies that God gave us is of the utmost importance. Are we preparing meals that meet the caloric and nutritional needs of our bodies? Are we eating enough or only the scraps left off of our toddler's plate, as I think every parent has done at least twice? Are we prioritizing protein or running on caffeine and a prayer? Coffee for breakfast is not breakfast. Mom, fuel it up, but have something besides your kids' crust to eat. Fifth, that brings me to prioritizing the table. I could go on for several other practical applications, but for now I'm going to end it with 5. I just finished up a book called Habits of the Household by Justin Whitmore Early. In it, he addresses the importance of liturgies throughout your home in everyday life. A liturgy is structured communal worship. Oftentimes, this is tied to some ritual. In the household, this could look like lighting a candle to signal the start of a family meal. Breaking bread together can absolutely be an act of worship. It's the perfect place to practice sharing, taking turns, expressing gratitude, and praying as a family. That said, the practice of eating together as a family is a great opportunity for our doctrine to come out of our fingertips in all the ways I've stated. There are a lot of other ways to apply it, but if you take nothing else away, remember this: in all you do, there are little eyes and ears watching and listening. The way you speak to your mother-in-law, the way you greet your husband, the way you correct their behavior, everything you do is teaching them something of your values and character. They might be too young to think of it that way right now, but they will remember whether you walked your talk. Everything you do is teaching them about your values, your character. So did you walk your talk? Did your doctrine come out your fingertips? Let's go into the rest of our day with that in mind. He's called you to motherhood? Well, good. It's a good thing he equips us to obey him. Thanks for sitting at the table with me. I'll see you in my next video.